In a small, friendly town, there lived a boy named Thomas. Everyone who knew him agreed on one thing. Thomas was incredibly smart. His teachers, his parents, his friends, they all saw a bright future laid out for him. And Thomas had a clear dream of his own. He wanted to become an IT engineer to build a life in the world of technology and code. On the surface, everything looked perfect. But beneath that promising exterior, Thomas was wrestling with a huge challenge. He couldn't control his own mind. His thoughts were in a constant state of chaos, jumping from one idea to the next, like a web browser with 100 tabs open all at once. Every single time he tried to sit down to study or practice coding, his focus would just slip away. One minute he'd be looking at a line of code, the next he'd be reaching for his phone. Then he'd find himself lost in a YouTube rabbit hole or scrolling endlessly through social media feeds. Sometimes his mind would just drift off into harmless but completely unproductive daydreams. With a little smile, Thomas would often tell himself, "It's fine. I'll start in a little while. There's still plenty of time." The problem was that later almost never arrived. His parents and teachers would gently remind him how important focus and consistency were for success. But deep down, Thomas held on to a comforting belief: "I'm smart. I'll figure it out somehow when the time comes." This belief became his excuse, the reason he kept putting off the hard work. Then came the day the results for a major academic exam were released. This was a big one, an exam that could have opened up a much easier path to his dream career. Thomas walked into school feeling hopeful, expecting his natural intelligence to have carried him through. But when he finally saw his result, his confident smile vanished. He hadn't passed. It was a shock. Even worse, his friends, the ones who had studied regularly and stuck to a routine, had all done very well. The same teachers who once praised his raw talent now looked at him with a quiet, disappointed silence. That silence was louder than any scolding. That evening, Thomas sat alone in his room. He wasn't angry. He didn't feel hopeless. He just felt quiet and incredibly thoughtful. He began to reflect, and he knew with total clarity that he wasn't lacking intelligence. His problem was something else entirely. It was a disorder of the mind, a fundamental lack of discipline. And in that quiet, reflective moment, a simple but powerful truth hit him like a lightning bolt. Talent without discipline goes absolutely nowhere. Right then and there, Thomas made a firm decision to change. He knew he needed more than just a tutor to teach him subjects. He needed someone who could teach him how to build mental focus and self-control. His search led him to a woman named Miss Inga. She was a renowned mentor, someone who believed deeply in the power of mental discipline. The word around town was that even the most distracted and restless students became calm and focused under her guidance. Thomas went to meet her, his heart full of a mix of hope and nervousness. He said, "Miss Inga, I have a real problem with focus. Whenever I sit down to study or work on my IT skills, my mind just wanders off. I don't know what to do." Ms. Inga smiled, a gentle, knowing smile. "Controlling the mind is not an easy task, Thomas," she said kindly. "But it is absolutely possible. Come with me, let me show you something." She led him to an open, quiet space and pointed to a simple, small black mark she had placed on a white wall. "Before you do anything else," she instructed, "I want you to just look at this point. Don't pay attention to the sounds outside. Don't think about what you have to do later. Just focus on this single point." Thomas tried, he really did. He stared at the mark, but within seconds, his thoughts were already trying to escape, pulling him in a dozen different directions. Ms. Inga observed him for a moment and then said, "Your problem isn't that you can't focus, Thomas. It's that your mind has become addicted to noise and distraction. A mind that constantly wants everything all at once ultimately achieves nothing." She leaned in slightly and added, "If you truly want to become an IT engineer, you have to start thinking like a programmer. One problem, one goal, one point of focus at a time." Thomas looked at her, ready to learn. "So where do I begin?" he asked earnestly. Miss Inga laid out a simple plan. "You will start with 4 simple rules," she said. "First, when you notice your mind wandering, don't fight it or get frustrated. Just calmly and gently bring it back to your task. Think of it like guiding a lost puppy back home. Second, you must create a clear daily routine. A specific time for learning and a specific time for rest and relaxation. Your brain needs structure. Third, when it's time to study, you must remove all distractions. Your phone goes in another room. Your computer has only the necessary tabs open. Create a sanctuary for focus. And fourth, you must practice this every single day. Progress isn't made in giant leaps. It's built through small, consistent, daily steps. Thomas took her words to heart and began immediately. That very day, he started his new routine. During his designated study hours, his phone was put away, out of sight and out of mind. He followed the schedule he created, and every single time his focus started to slip, he would gently remind himself of his ultimate goal. I am going to become an IT engineer. At first, it was incredibly difficult. His mind, so used to constant stimulation, fought against the new structure. It felt like trying to tame a wild animal. But Thomas persisted. Slowly but surely, he started to notice a change. A few minutes of focus turned into 10, then 30, then an hour. His concentration was improving. After some time, Thomas found he could study and practice his coding for hours on end, completely absorbed in his work without any distraction. The chaotic noise in his head had quieted down, replaced by a calm, steady focus. A few months later, he had to take another important exam. This time he went in feeling prepared, not just smart. And the result was outstanding. He had passed with flying colors. In that moment, Thomas understood that this success wasn't about luck or just his raw talent. It was the direct result of discipline, focus, and the power of daily, consistent effort. A year later, as Thomas looked toward a future that was now bright and full of opportunity, he often remembered something else Ms. Inga had told him during one of their sessions. She had said, "The mind is like a computer's operating system. If you don't manage it, it will be full of errors and eventually crash. But if you configure it correctly, if you maintain it, it can perform the most incredible things." From that day forward, Thomas lived his life by one simple, guiding principle. Discipline your mind, and your future will shape itself. If you feel this story can help others who might be struggling with focus and discipline, please like and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories just like this one. Thanks for watching.